What's good with it, Black Goose TV family, man? Double salute as always. Your boy Fluence is back in the building again. I got my guy Zen with me. Look, long time overdue, man. We ain't done a Fluence and Zen in I don't know how long. It's been a long time, but obviously we done lives and all that stuff. But we here once again, Fluence and Zen. We got some topics to talk about. What's happening with it, Zen, man? What's the vibe like, man? How you feeling?
What's the deal, y'all? Yeah,
Feeling good, man. What's the energy like, man? I know you was sick or you are sick. Any progress? It got any worse? Got any better?
kind of gotten better. I just feel like everything just stuffed right in my face.
So you got a lot of congestion, you got the sinuses. No body aches, chills, nothing like that. Just all in the congestion side of the game. Yeah,
Yeah,
those ones suck. Those ones suck for sure. Well, man, keep getting better, dog. Appreciate you hopping up on this live. I know, you know what I'm saying? It's a struggle sometimes, especially when you're sick. Y'all know me, I wasn't able to do it all last week. So, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But I appreciate you hopping up on here, even with the sickness. Sickness going crazy around right now. So everybody stay suited and booted up, put the scarves on, put the beanies on, put the gloves on, stay away from them six folks. You know what I'm saying? Because they're also saying that supposedly there's going to be a rise in the CVID as well as this winter comes. But I think that's just really going to be the flu. I think that's just cap. But either way, y'all stay safe out there. That being said, man, we here, Fluence and Zen. If y'all come up in here, man, show some love, hit the like button, you know what I'm saying? Subscribe to the channel if you're not part of the family. Check out the Twitch too. If you're on the Twitch side of the game, man, hit that Twitch button, follow. I'm trying to get some followers on Twitch. I will be sooner or later updating a lot of things when it comes to the channel as well as the Twitch. So, you know what I'm saying? Everything looks a lot better. Everything looks a lot more in place. Everything is a lot more organized. Until then, keep rocking with us. Keep showing love as always, man. And if y'all come up in here later, get in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Get the algorithm going. You know what I'm saying? Get the engagement going. Do all that good stuff. But yeah, all right. You know what I'm saying? Also, too, man, happy Wednesday to the people. It's the middle of the week. I love the middle of the week because that means we only got 2 days until the weekend, technically. So I'm happy about that. But with that being said, you know what I'm saying? We got some topics that we're going to be getting into tonight. A lot of it's going to be on the basketball side of the game, which it only makes sense since basketball is going crazy right now. Boxing ain't on shit as of lately. I'm not one of them guys that try and drag certain topics out, so I ain't been feeling boxing none. So we're going to get into some boxing topics for sure, for sure. But before we get into all that, obviously, in usual Fluences in fashion, ain't done it in a minute, man. How was your Wednesday, dog? Go ahead, rate that joint out of 5, man. How you feeling?
it was good. I hit my goal for the 3 days of making my money, so that was good. So made my money.
Excuse me.
I didn't really do too much, bro. All I did was just get that money today, for real. Like I woke up, got the money, came back, went to sleep, woke up, got back to the money. Now I'm here.
That's
So
that I'm sick and I gotta make the most of it. I still gotta I'm sick. I still gotta make the money. But I'm going, you know what I'm saying? I know what that type of time is on.
no, I ain't really do nothing else, bro. I ain't gonna lie, I shouldn't have took that nap. That shit kind of fucked me up. But
Made you more drowsier or
yeah, you made me not want to
slightly.
go out back out. But I had to
Oh,
hit my goal. So I was like, let me get my ass up out there, man.
so what would you rate that joint out of 5, at least until now?
I probably like a three, 3.2 or something, 3.0. Nothing crazy, man. Just really low. Very
Solid
average.
day. Average day,
Yeah, you
got the
can't
money.
complain for it, but it can't hit the fours or the fives just because it's like, I mean, I do got some chicken waiting and some rice and shit like that, but ain't nothing though. I'm like, yeah, like nah, that's survival food over there.
It's not a terrible day though. For a
Not
Wednesday, for the midday,
not alive, man. So
mid
shit,
of the week.
I can't be too mad. What about you, dog? How's your day?
My day was good. Um man, it's cold as hell. I don't be liking how cold it is. I'm not a fan of it. Like at all. I'm like this Memphis cold weather, man. I thought it was gonna be warmer, like coming up this winter than it was last winter. But
Mm.
because you know what I'm saying, it just got cold. Like it was like raining, hot, all types of shit, and then now all of a sudden it just switched to just straight cold. So I'm not a fan of that. Um, real quick before I do get into my day, my DoorDash order is approaching right now, so let me go grab that real quick for the people. Talk
All
your
right.
shit real quick, Zen, for like 2 minutes. I'll be right back. My bad, y'all.
That nigga don't never not get no DoorDash, y'all. He has a problem. And I hope one day he fixes that problem and he just starts cooking for himself. Because there's no reason this man should be having DoorDash come to this nigga house all the time, man. Nigga, he switch up his diet. I mean, I'm not saying that he's probably ordering necessarily bad food, but he could be cooking himself some better food. You know what I'm saying? He could be getting good rice, and you know what I'm saying, get the chicken going. He could really cook up in there, cause the nigga can cook. It ain't like the nigga just know how to make bologna sandwiches and shit like that. The nigga can actually cook. So it's like the fact that he don't cook. Now I'm not saying every damn day, you feel me? Because there might be days from work he ain't feeling it, right? But I'm like, shit, nigga, you can meal prep, you feel me? Make some a big ass portion of food. It'll last you 2-3 days, but you know he ain't gonna be on none of that, man. He'll be back like, yeah, got my food. I just tell people how you can cook and everything like that. You don't choose to cook. You know, like this nigga not a bologna sandwich ass nigga over here, man. This nigga can really cook.
Nah, I ain't finna cook, man. I can cook, but yeah, I'm not gonna do that. It takes way too much time out of my nights. I wish. On the weekends though, you know, I could, but even then, I'm too lazy. But all right, I got the food. My bad, y'all. How was my day? My day was cool. Woke up, went to work. Work was good. Work's been really good as of late. It's been picking up, so I'm happy about that. I'm back for the most part to my regular routine of going back to the gym, doing my cardio and stuff like that, which is good, which I'm happy about. So I had a good workout. Came home, did a little cleanup here and there, listened to some music, chilled, got my spirit right, and here we is. You know what I'm saying? Getting it popping with the live. So I had a cool day. It wasn't nothing special, nothing over the top. I'll give it out of a 5. I'll give it probably like a 3.9. After I eat, probably like a 4.1, 4.0. But it was a solid day. I ain't got no complaints, man. Ready? Honestly, as you get older, the weekends and the weekdays are all the same. But you know, you try and tell yourself, man, the weekends type shit. But I am happy it is midweek. We got a couple of days to the weekend. I got some shit planned for this weekend, so that's cool. So, but yeah, pretty regular day for me. Productive enough.
That's good. Yeah, this weekend should be good. Got my auntie's birthday on Sunday. And your boy gonna drop the tape that day too. See what I'm saying? So some good shit going on, man.
Salute to that, man. Yeah, my weekend I'm just I'm gonna be mingling. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be mingling. I'm gonna be out there with them broads. Just gotta figure out which ones I'm gonna chill with. So it's gonna be a good time. I'm gonna get the cut tomorrow. You're like, what the fuck you finna cut? Nigga, I gotta
Man,
cut the
I'm glad you said something, fool. I didn't even book my appointment, nigga. I need to get fresh, nigga.
yeah, I'm gonna cut all that. I'm gonna bald it out for the people. So I just bald all that out, even though I wear my hair like this. I'm gonna get this trimmed up right here. You know what I'm saying? So I look young for the hoes. But, you know,
See if
it's
we
gonna
got
be a
any
good time.
shit. I'm over here wasting time. Let's see if we even got any damn
Yeah, I'm gonna be booking my I got a new barber again.
this nigga. 9:30
Staying
in the
with new
morning.
barbers, bro.
Oh man.
That's one thing
I
about
can
me.
get cut same day, huh?
Well, that's what I'm gonna do most likely tomorrow. Cause he don't be booked up. At least when I booked him last time, his new dude, he wasn't booked up like that. So I feel like I can just get it same day. He was solid though. I was surprised. He was like, hey, you want somebody who could braid hair? I was like, nah, I'm not getting my hair braided no more. This shit take too long. It hurts. This shit, unless, nah, fuck that. Let me
Should I
see.
go Friday, bro, or should I just go Sunday? Cause the thing is Sunday, right? So should I just
I'll
get
go
Friday?
Friday. See, I like, you doing that. I was like, let me make sure I'm not overestimating, dude. I was thinking I was gonna be able to do same day booking. Nah, I gotta get it on Friday, so I'm just gonna book my shit right now. And his last
Yeah.
one is for 1:30, so I'm booking my shit right now.
Cause Saturday he has 9:30, but I'm like, I don't want to go up there that early. You feel me? That's a little too
Booked.
early going up there to go get no cut.
Yeah, I hate going in the morning for my haircut.
I rather like afternoon, like 1, 2, 12 or something like that, just so I know like I got a little bit of day left. You feel me? You go too early, you just like, man, why'd I get here this early?
That shit is trash. I only did that one time as of recently, and that was for the last barber I had. Like I switched to him And like his like to this day, I'm like of all the barbers I've had, like he is the best one I've had out here. Like he cuts so immaculate, bro. Like his cuts are crazy, but he's just mad untrustworthy. Like I'll book and I'll show up. Like I've done it multiple times. Like this nigga got people in front of me. He's like, I got you, bro. It's like, nigga, I'm booking for a reason, bro. Like
Like
I'm
I'm not
coming
trying to
during
get it
my
in
lunch
here. We
time.
got niggas waiting, nigga.
Yeah.
That defeats the purpose, nigga.
So that happened too many times, and it's like I'm booking and I'm paying a little extra for the book, and then I'm still waiting. It's like, man, like you cut good, bro, but you don't cut that good. I'm sorry, my nigga. So I moved on from bro
So should I
quickly.
go Friday?
Yeah, I go Friday. I got my shit booked Friday 1:30.
All right. See, they got 1:30, but they got 12:45 too. I might hit that 12:45 on the ad, baby. Ooh, doo, doo, doo.
Yeah, I do 1:30 because that's usually like around my lunch for work. So it's like usually I'll probably and I like getting a little bit later. So when I come back to work, I don't got that much left in the work day.
What
So
am I doing Friday? Nothing. I got nothing doing. I got nothing going on. So yeah, we're gonna go Friday 12:45. Damn, they want my whole government.
that's how y'all get shit done, man. Get shit
Bear with us, y'all. We sorry, man. We gotta get fresh in these streets, boy.
cleaned up, cut up, on point. You feel me?
Only reason I'm getting cut up though, cause it's my auntie birthday, and I'm trying to look fresh for you feel me, my release date. So I'm like, I don't want to be looking crusty. You know what I'm saying? Even though nobody gonna really probably see me.
Shit, I'm doing it for the hoes. So I'm planning that,
And
and y'all pray for me this weekend. I'm planning on. This is gonna be my first time ever. I'm gonna try and book like three different situations. So y'all pray for me. Let me know. And the only reason I'm gonna be able to do that this weekend is just because there's not gonna be no Fluence Lounge this Saturday because there ain't no fights. Because I don't think Regis Progress is fighting this weekend. I think that's next weekend.
for real,
Yeah, November 20. It might be this weekend. I don't know. But I'm almost sure there's not gonna be no Fluence Lounge. So I'm about to try and set up a trifecta and see how that works. So y'all pray for me. I might either it might go absolutely perfect or it might go terrible and I get cut or something. But whatever. You gotta take those chances, guys. When you're living life on the edge, you might get cut. I'm just playing. Salute to the people though. Appreciate everybody up out here. You know what I'm saying? You already know what it is. Look, let's get into it, man. Let's get into the first topic. We bullshit around, talking enough shit. And it's gonna be like that for the rest of the night, man. We're just gonna have a good time. We're just gonna chop shit up. It's gonna be random topics here and there. We might go off base, whatever the case may be.
you
But
ain't fucking with us tonight. It's all good. It's Wednesday. We probably got things to do.
nigga, we 12 minutes in.
We need to get some notifications, man.
Nigga said that like we was 2 hours in, nigga. We 12 minutes in, nigga. I don't expect nobody fuck with us at this point. But look, first topic, let's get it. These topics is coming from my guy Zin. Zin has some shit he wanted to talk about. He's like, man, I got some shit on my soul. And it needs to be discussed. I need to put my opinion. I need to voice it. Because I'm tired of the bullshit. So go ahead, lead it off, Zin. What's the first topic you wanted to discuss? Why? The reasoning? Like, let me you know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
You want to see what KD said?
Stephen A. Chandler. Go ahead.
Who the hell is you?
Oh, I should say Stephen A. Zin. That actually sounds better.
Okay, Fluence as Bouchard. That's what we gonna call you.
Wow, that's so disrespectful. I was like, nigga, you could give me Skip or Shannon. You got to go Chris Massar. What the fuck? So I'm taking my back. You ain't Stephen A. because I gave you a prime time dude.
No,
You,
he's terrible though, bro. You gave me
you Zen right then, boy. Yep.
right.
I'm talking about Zen right. Yep. First things first, nigga. The nigga who was bald and now he got hair. Yeah, he don't know. Nick Wright, nigga, that's you.
Who are you? Fluence as
That's you. You call me Broussard, so you Nick Wright.
So you
like, you gave me. I'm not saying being Broussard is bad, but I was like, damn, I gave you prime time slot with Stephen A. Bro, and you just go to Chris Broussard. I'm like, damn, you gave me a step down.
Chris Broussard be on the show.
Or something. It's fucked up. Could have been Jay Williams.
Shit, he might not have a job soon. You want me to give you the unemployed nigga?
Here you go. But go ahead. What's how you saying there's a statement from KD you want to read? Go ahead.
You ain't see it?
No, I ain't seen it. I heard a little bit about it, but
Okay, he had
I
two.
didn't actually
So
like
he
pay
had,
too much attention to it.
I guess I'm gonna get to both. So you want to talk about one, or you wanted to hear both, and then talk about both?
Yeah, you got to present both. Let's hear both.
So he was asked on his trade request this summer, and he said, "When we all when we're all playing like shit, you know, the one person they're going to look at. That's why I requested a trade."
Okay. All right, so let's go one by one. Okay. All right. Say that one more time for me. Let me digest that one more time.
When we're all playing like shit, you know, the one person that they're going to look at. That's why I requested a trade.
That's interesting. Okay. Can I say my thoughts on that?
That's why I wanted these topics. I was like, man, these is some good stuff for Fluence, because you know this Fluence guy right here. This is
Yeah, I know. You know I'm a Kevin Durant guy. So, all right, he's gonna get criticized a lot off of that. That wasn't the right statement to make. I'm not even gonna lie to you, because you're basically saying like you requested a trade for a season that hasn't happened yet. So basically, you already had no hope for the season. You telling me you didn't believe in your guys at all. You said the team, and it's interesting because when he did request the trade, he put a lot of it on, I don't want Sean Marks to be the GM. I don't want Steve Nash to be the coach. It's like, why was you just truthful? Why would you just say our roster is trash? Why'd you put it on? Like, why don't you just, but if you think about it, if you look at like, if you kind of read between the lines, it's like, if you don't want the coach to be there, but then you're also calling out the GM, you're basically saying the GM put together a trash roster. Like me hearing him say that statement, and then now thinking about he wanted the GM fired, he kind of did already say that if you kind of read between the lines. But at the same time, if you're going into a season, you're the best player and you're supposedly supposed to be the leader, the guy everyone follows. That's not a good look, man. Because I'm like, hearing him even say that, I'm like, y'all still got the same roster, so you're basically saying your roster's trash. So,
you know what's even worse about all that too?
Go ahead.
He tried to beat Braun. That's when it
I
comes
hate
down.
that. I hate when people say this. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish.
No, I'm just saying he tried to beat Braun. I'm talking about as far as just, you feel me? When Braun wanted a certain type of player, like I want JR on my team. I want, this type of person on my team. You feel me? If they didn't get maybe that person, they got somebody similar. You get what I'm saying? I'm saying as far as building a team, Braun knows exactly what he needs to win. I don't think Kevin Durant knows what he needs to win. Or if he does know what he needed to win got him the bad reputation that he has now, as far as that, how he got his rings, right? Jumping ship and joining the best team, quote unquote, on paper ever, record wise.
People aren't honest though when it comes to that. Everyone says KD jumped ship, and it's like, come on, guys. Everybody knows Draymond recruited him. Yes, he did decide to go over there, but I'm like, why do we leave out such a big narrative? Like, come on, think about it. If you're
everybody, it wasn't just Draymond, it was Steph, it was Iggy.
So that's my point. I'm like, think about it. If you're one of the best players at the time right now, you're a free agent, you have one of the best teams, and all these guys are willing to say, hey, we just, we lost to Cleveland, but before that, we've already won 2 championships. But we think with you on here, we can go to a whole nother level. We're willing to accept you as the quote unquote scoring leader. Why would you say no to that? Like, say if it wasn't KD, say at that time it was Anthony Davis, say if that time it was Giannis, say at that time it was Joel Embiid, say at that time it was James Harden. Like, it's hard for me to think that any other superstar other than a LeBron James would say no.
Kobe wouldn't go to them niggas.
Well, I mean, Kobe, but Kobe wasn't playing at that time, was he? When he first got recruited,
it was last year, so it don't count.
It was like, so I'm like, obviously Kobe is another person, but I'm like, other than Kobe and LeBron, who of all the superstars who are currently in the league would probably say like, no, I'm good?
Because Giannis had a chance to go to better teams this 2 years ago.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did. He could have left the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, not to a stacked. This is what I'm trying to say is the difference is, it's different having like, all right, say I'm a guy, right? I just told my job, hey, I appreciate you, I really do, but I have 3 other offers and I'm going to consider it, right? That's different than a high level company coming to me and saying, nigga, this is what we're going to pay you. We want you no matter what. What are you going to do? You're going to stay where you at, or are you going to take this better offer with a better company and we're willing to make everything and do everything that you want. That's different. So I'm like, what I'm saying is Giannis was never in a position like that's what I'm trying to like
You can't
base it
say
as.
that. He had the Warriors recruiting him, bro. Steph and them
Not the
niggas was
same level.
recruiting him. What you mean? It's the same principle. They was
It's
recruiting
not
that nigga.
it's not because we have specific narrative to how KD was recruited. You have a multitude of guys, the stars, saying that we want you, KD, and we're willing to say, hey, we'll take the back burner and put you as a key level guy. It's different when you just having the front staff or, hey, yo, let's meet, let's talk, this, and that. We can even like the closest relevant is, in my personal opinion, the closest thing that's relevant to that, or you can compare it to, is AD to the Lakers. They wanted AD. They said, this is our guy. LeBron said, I want AD. When you have a superstar, when you have a Hall of Famer who's done it himself and proved it, and they're saying, I want this guy and I'm willing to take a step back, that's totally different than the organization saying, hey, come on in, we're having these meetings, we want you, etc. So that's all I'm trying to it sounds like a cop-out for KD, but I'm like, how many times have we seen a superstar as heavily recruited in the way that KD was to the Golden State Warriors?
I mean, we really don't know how much he was recruited though, because at that time we didn't even know that was an option until later.
About.
But I'm saying,
as soon as they lost in the finals, niggas was spreading rumors saying Draymond was on the phone with KD crying, having him come over. Like, that's a narrative to this day, whether it's true or not. That's a narrative to this day that Draymond was crying on the phone like, KD, we need you.
But I'm saying they were saying the same thing with Giannis though 2 summers ago. They said he could have went to the Warriors or he could have went to the Lakers, and everybody was like,
that's different though. That's speculative in the sense of fans, reporters, media. When we're talking about KD recruiting, we're talking about players of the organization coming out publicly and saying, yes, we wanted him. Yes, we wanted this guy. After having such a successful season, after already proving that they can win without him, you had key guys in Draymond saying, yes, we recruited him. Steph later on said it. Clay later on said it. We don't like when we're talking about Giannis being recruited, it's the same factors what we always see these superstars recruited when it's free agency. There's always a speculation of, yeah, the Lakers want this guy or the Pelicans want this guy. But I'm like, in reference how KD was recruited to the Warriors, it's an anomaly. Like, I see that the same way as, you know, when LeBron made the decision to go to Miami Heat. Like, those are going to be 2 moments in the past, like 10 to 20 years in NBA history that's going to go down. Is going to be like, yo, that's an anomaly. The way that went down, it probably won't happen again for another X amount of years. That's my opinion. So I feel like there's a criticism of KD that's kind of unjust, because I feel like if the recruitment wasn't so heavy from the players within the organization, I don't think KD would have felt that pressed to go there. Because if he would have, the nigga would still be there now.
That's not necessarily true though, because you say it was the players that recruited him. It was that same player that said fuck you. So he's like, that's why he really bounced, right? So it's like, to me, I'm like, I'm giving KD that pressure just because it's like, nigga, before and after, nigga, when the shoulders was on you, nigga, I seen them niggas up 3-1 against them Warriors, fool. And I seen that nigga not do nothing 3 games in a row. And everybody blamed Westbrook. But I saw that nigga get ripped by Iggy just like Westbrook did. So it wasn't like he took majority of the blame. He could have just been like, you know what, Russ? But you always had this point. You said he probably didn't fuck with Russ because that was Russ's team. Russ was like, you feel me, a type of personality that KD himself is more chill. Like you see Steph, he get taken out the game. He don't give a damn. You feel me? Russ a nigga like, what? I ain't coming out this game, boy. You better sub somebody. You get me? Like, so that's the type of dynamic. So KD's that type of person, right? He's like, in the interview on All the Smoke, he said that I just let guys do what they do. You know, Russ, I just let Russ and them go do what they do. You know, Steph, whatever. Like, I just get the ball when I get the ball, and then I just do what I do. Like, I don't really press the issue. I just let guys be who they are. So with him saying that, he doesn't have necessarily like of a person to be like, give me the ball and get out the way. You know what I'm saying? That's not his type of demeanor on the court. So I'm saying after and before. Now, see, this now I'm not trying to knock Kyrie or nothing, but if you could look at like leadership skills, like Kyrie was the wrong person for him to team up because I'm like, at least with Russ, you got to a finals. You had a chance, and he was 1 game away from getting back to the finals and playing against Bron. With Kyrie, y'all haven't even gotten to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, granted, he was hurt
better than Kyrie, though. It's not even close.
But I'm talking about as far as just impact on what KD needs to win. He needs somebody to be able to be like, I'm going, like Steph is a leader. Like Steph can go into a game and just take it over. He can go hit 5 threes in a row, get an and one, get everybody else open because they so focused on, like, he can just impact the game a certain way for them to win.
Does that make
Right?
him a leader though, or does that make him being able to understand when he's needed?
I mean, you don't got to be the main leader to be a leader. He is one of the leaders on that team for sure. We know Draymond's the backpack nigga, but I'm
That's what I was
saying,
gonna say. I'm like, it's like I feel like
I'm just saying, but when it comes down to it though, that needle pusher is Steph. Steph is getting them niggas over the hump.
that doesn't mean you're a leader though, just because you're the needle pusher.
I'm saying he's one of the leaders. You can have more than one leader.
Yeah, but I'm like, even if you have more than one leader, there's always going to be a dynamic where who has the most power. Who is everyone going to turn around and say like, okay, this is what's being said? Like we all know Draymond is the leader of the Warriors.
But I'm saying Steph's word is just as high as, if Steph's saying something on the court, them niggas is gonna be like, all right, what's Steph saying? Like, what's the
I'm
problem?
not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying, I'm like, you have to understand. Well, in my personal opinion, when it comes to the Westbrook Kevin Durant situation when they were together, I don't think Kevin Durant ever had like now me. I used to think, okay, maybe because Westbrook was his team, KD felt a certain way, etc. As we're getting older, as I'm seeing KD, this is probably something you don't expect me to say, but I'm like, it's obvious KD has number one talent, but he wants to have number two power. He doesn't want to have all the responsibilities of being a number one. So that's why KD and Russell work so well. And I think the narrative that the media tried to paint of KD and Westbrook not working out was because KD wanted to be that guy. They were wrong. I think KD was fine being in that position. I actually think KD would have returned to OKC if this goes back to my point of Draymond calling him, Steph calling him, Clay calling, like, yo, we can win a ring here.
You talking about Golden State? I was like,
Yeah, like we can win a ring here. I'm like, you may be able to ring a ring with OKC, but as long as this dynasty is here with Golden State, you think you can get past us? And so you have to understand, Draymond is has the same type of behavior as Westbrook. But I think KD had a shorter leash for Draymond, obviously, because he's like, nigga, you're not even on the same level as Westbrook, bro. You can't talk to me like this.
that's an MVP nigga.
Like, chill. Like, Westbrook really showed out. Like, that's cool. If he want to go crazy and stuff, I can let it slide because the nigga stats and what he does makes up for it. Draymond, bro, you in a great situation. Don't talk to me like you better than me, bro. And I think that's where the leash got really short. And I also think that's why KD was eager to play with someone like Kyrie because he knew what was going to be the situation. He knew it was going to be a chilled environment. I don't think he went and enjoyed Kyrie because he thought they was going to win a whole bunch of chips. I think he went and did that because he was like, nigga, playing with Golden State for those amount of times was stressful, not because of the pressure, but because I had a nigga who was way weaker than me talking to me like he was better than me. And this was his shit. So let me go somewhere where I got some respect. Kyrie's going to respect him. James Harden's going to respect him. I even think if he played with Westbrook, I actually think he wouldn't mind playing with Westbrook again. As much as people try to talk about it, I think they would be fine. Because I think at the end of the day, Westbrook always played with respect with KD. Like Westbrook never disrespected KD the whole time. Wait, Draymond did? Westbrook never did that.
Bro, they could have made a dynasty over there, bro. I don't care what nobody say, bro. Like, because you look at the year after when he left, Westbrook was on a whole nother level. So it's like
crazy.
He'd have been on that same level.
Yeah.
And
but I'm like, you can't blame KD though, because it is a good, like, if you have a team that's already set up a championship mentality, it's like, yo, just come over here. All you have to do is do you. Like, why would you say no? I'm gonna be making that money and competing for the chips.
I hear what you're saying, because Gilbert had this same point. He like, look, the best quote unquote team ever just lost to LeBron James in the finals. If you're Kevin Durant, where do you go to go beat LeBron James? He's like, that's the only team you could go to. So it makes sense when you look at it in that regard, but then it's like a nigga like T-Mac, I don't see him doing that. You get what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, why I'm saying that, I'm just saying, like, KD was so hell-bent on being like, I want to show niggas I'm like that and want to get these rings. So my quote-unquote, he didn't want to be like a Charles Barkley. I'm not trying to come at Charles.
Yeah,
but he didn't want to be like a nigga like Charles Barkley. They got an MVP. Niggas took his team to the finals, but they just could never win. You feel me? So that's why I feel like he's like, you know what? I'm in my prime. These niggas over here are shooters. These niggas going to be unselfish. I won't even be looked at as necessarily the best nigga because it's gonna say it's Steph's team. So he was everything worked for him. It's
But
like
he was better than
Draymond's the
K. He was
leader.
better than Steph. That's why he
So
got the Finals MVP.
huh?
I said, but he was better than Steph. Like the only people who are gonna look at those series
Yeah,
and
just
them
because you
winning
better
and
than
say Steph
somebody.
was the best is Golden State Warriors fan. We all know they won those series because of KD.
Yeah, we know
That's
that.
not
But I'm
cap.
saying we all like. I'm just saying. I'm talking about media right now. I'm not talking about what the facts are now. I'm saying it's Steph's team. So say if they were to lose a game, they're gonna be like, oh well, what did Steph do? You get what I'm saying? Like, and then you got Drake. Like, you got other scapegoats where it's like it's not all on KD. Is what I'm trying to say. Now them losing would have looked bad because it's like, oh, you left and went here and y'all didn't win. But I don't think the pressure was were we gonna win. He just didn't want to be blamed. He didn't want, like you said, he didn't want to have that number one pressure. But then he goes and puts himself in the number one pressure because it's like we already knew Kyrie was a two nigga. So you can't go and try to be a two nigga with a two nigga. That don't make no sense.
I think that's where the like we have a discrepancy when it comes to this, where it's like I don't think KD went to Brooklyn to be a number two nigga. I think he went to be the number one guy, but he wanted someone alongside with him that he knew, yo, our respect level is not going to be questioned. When we play, we hoop it. It's about basketball. When he went to Golden State, he was around niggas where it was just about basketball, but then there was Draymond, and he was like, yo, bro, you making this a lot more than just basketball, dog. And I think that's what it came down to. And then on top of that, how you gonna make this more than basketball when you're not better than me, bro? You telling me how to do this shit and you can't do what I do.
Can I make a note? Is it maybe I'm tripping, but is Jordan Poole not been playing? Like I thought the nigga was supposed to have like a phenomenal season since he's
That's
got
not Poole's fault. It's not
It's
Poole's
not
fault.
his fault, but I'm saying I just feel like I seen the games, bro. I've seen some of the games. Like just how he playing out there is not the same as last year. Like he might average 17. You go to the stats, but I'm talking about as far as like how he was playing last year.
How many games? Like think about the minutes he played last year, and I'm not talking about how many minutes because he's playing similar minutes. But if you watch the Golden State Warriors game, look at when he's put into the game in comparison to last year. Last year they treated him as if he was literally the third best scoring option. This year they're treating him as if he's a guy that comes off the bench.
Yeah, like
you telling me Draymond is not the leader of the team, nigga?
I never said he wasn't though.
But that's my point. I'm like, no, but what I'm saying is I know Steph is the best player. I know he demands, but that nigga, he's not a nigga. Like he's not commanding nothing. He's not gonna stand up to Draymond and be like, yo, this nigga, this is my team. He's passive and he'll allow someone like Draymond to believe the team is his because he don't want no type of he's like, I don't want to deal with none of that shit. Let's just hoop and play basketball, which has worked. But when you have someone like KD come in and he just wants to hoop, but it's like, wait, hold up, bro. At the same time, though, it's like
you're not gonna be telling me like nigga.
Exactly, bro. So
KD,
I'm like,
at the end of the day, even though he has his moments where it's like this nigga has some weirdo
nigga,
to him,
bro.
That's what I was about to say.
KD's a nigga, man. So don't like. That's what people get it twisted about KD because he's
yeah,
passive.
like he's not a nigga. It's
like
just
he like, bro.
he
He from like, come on, bro.
But that's the same thing with Kyrie, though. Niggas forget this nigga from Newark, New Jersey. Like, nigga, you know how bad Newark is, nigga? That's like top 5 deadly cities in the country. Like, nigga didn't grow up. Just, you feel me? Now, I'm not saying his family didn't have money, but I'm saying where he was.
His family had money. Kyrie a little bit did. Don't compare Kyrie's situation to KD.
Of course, they have different, but I'm saying the environment is still an environment.
Kyrie, his pops had bread.
I'm just saying the environment is still an environment. Just because you got money don't mean you escape what's around you.
I know, but real quick though, like my like specific point when it comes to this, like, and it's not because I've always been a KD fan, so it's gonna sound like I'm just kind of rocking with him, stuff like that.
Too. People don't even know, bro. Like KD for sure is one of my favorite players, but it's just like over the years, it's just when you have a favorite player like Kobe, and then you watch niggas like AI, T-Mac, like it's just hard sometimes for me to just like not see that nigga like I used to see T-Mac and these niggas like get the ball. Paul Pierce even nigga like just get the ball and just like not saying KD won't and can't do it. But I'm saying
crazy because KD is better than every nigga you just named other than Kobe.
It ain't about better. It's about mindset. Though. His mindset's not better than none of them niggas I'm talking
crazy,
about.
Bro. You crazy.
It's not.
KD got more wins, got more rings than everybody except Kobe you just named. How is his mindset is not better?
That nigga's on better teams than all them niggas. How many MVPs did AI play with? How many MVPs did Tracy McGrady play with? How
It
many
was a
MVPs
different
that-
time. Niggas wasn't playing with MVPs like that. Everyone was individual. It was always like one superstar or maybe two superstars on the team, and then you had the lower level teams.
But you can't make that comparison when
You got
that,
to, because it's got to be relative.
But
I'm
you
like, I can't make arguments about.
But you
shit
saying
that's
that
not.
But you saying that he has more wins. You're supposed to have more wins when you're on a better team. How many Hall of Famers this nigga playing with?
Better competition. He played against better competition. So I'm like, we have to put everything into perspective. The teams are much better now, or
better competition than Kobe, is what you're telling me.
You can't name one person and say that
totality is niggas in the same era though. So I'm saying,
but that's my point. You can't say, oh, KD played against better competition, just Kobe. No, he didn't play against players that were better than Kobe because Kobe's an anomaly. But I'm like, if you want to talk about the overall basis of teams, you want to talk about how teams were built, the top heavy teams in KD's era was much better than the top heavy teams in AI Kobe's era. It is what it. That's just the fact.
Warriors, what team is beating Kobe's in Lakers Shaq?
You doing the anomaly. You're doing an anomaly again. I can't compare. We can't talk about the best team and say, will he beat him? I'm talking about overall. I'm talking about overall competition.
Or even the Kings. Who's gonna beat that Kings team with Chris Webber and them niggas? Because them niggas
KD played against.
Yeah, who
you're talking about when he's with OKC? You're talking about when he's Golden State?
I'm just saying, you're saying the competition he played against. I'm saying, what of those teams would beat those teams back then?
I'm like, majority of the West would beat those guys.
What team though?
Majority of the West during the time when he
James
was on the
Harden,
Golden State.
Houston Rockets is beating them niggas.
Yes.
Nigga.
Yes. The Rising Denver Nuggets beating them. Yes. Portland would beat them. Yes. I'm like, let's not cap. Those were great eras, but Sacramento in today's game, trash. All they had was Chris Webber. Their second best player on the team was Doug Christie. Fuck out of here.
Mike Bibby. Oh, that's disrespectful to Mike Bibby.
Their second best player was Mike Bibby. Oh my God.
Bobby Jackson was better than Doug Christie too. That's disrespectful, dog. Now
you saying that like that's just a world-renowned, like they're solid players, but I'm like, you can't compare that to the like Houston Rockets would wipe the floor with them, bro.
But you're saying that as if they didn't have back then. What was emphasized? Mid-range. What's emphasized today? Threes. So you're telling me if them niggas wasn't told? But I'm saying, if you're telling me that their mindset wasn't, oh, we can gun threes now, and that's they would adapt. I'm saying
they couldn't gun threes in. Them niggas didn't shoot that well. Them niggas had everything was based. Come on, man, don't act like that back then. Everything was based on roles. Everything was based on roles. You had the point guard, you had the shooting guard, you had the defensive player, you had the big man, then you had the center who could do what he was supposed to do. Everything was roles back then, which means you did not have a lot of just knockdown shooters. The people who shot the threes for the Kings was Bibby, Bobby, Peja. That's it. Their whole team did not shoot threes.
Brad Miller.
Hito did not shoot threes that good back then, and Brad Miller was trash. I'm mad you even said him.
He could shoot threes though.
He was trash, and he didn't shoot threes consistently good. So I'm like, those teams were not constructed to adapt and play in the league that we're talking about. So I'm like, that's why I say myself, I'm like, everything has to be relative. That's why I was like, I can't compare, okay, these two top teams during the 2000s in comparison to the stacked West that they were going against when it comes to Golden State, when he was on Golden State, when he was on OKC. I'm like, they played against, like, come on, like, we cannot act like, as much as I love my era, I cannot act like today's competition overall is betterly talent throughout each team than when we were watching it. You have talent on even the worst team nowadays. You have shooters on even the worst team nowadays. Now, that doesn't mean that, like, it could still be, like, I could still argue, like, okay, in the 2000s, top heavy, yes, they're better. But if I'm talking about, like, overall, the talent that's in the NBA, it's better now. Niggas are better overall players.
What shooting guard is better than Tracy McGrady right now?
That's that. See, you're doing the top heavy.
Point guard is better than Gilbert Arenas right now.
You're doing the top heavy thing. Oh, what point guard right now? Dame Lillard's better than Gilbert. Easy. Not even close. CJ is better than Gilbert, even though he's not a point guard.
CJ's not better.
Hell yeah, CJ would smoke Gilbert. Gilbert was so unathletic, bro.
Gilbert gave Kobe 60. I'm not hearing it. I saw the game.
I'm not.
If he can do that to Kobe, what is he gonna do to CJ McCollum? Come on.
CJ would have been able to drop 62 during that time.
On Kobe?
If CJ was on the Washington Wizards and he was the main guy, yes, because that's how teams were orchestrated.
Brandon
They were
Roy
role
never even
players.
scored that many points, so
They
he's
were
not better than
role
Brandon Roy.
players. CJ's better than Brandon Roy to me.
Oh, that's disrespectful, dog. You're crazy now. You're crazy. That nigga had a knees as 40-year-old man and giving niggas hell.
Brandon Roy was a dog, but CJ's better. I just look at that like, bro, come on, man. I'm not the type of guy. I'm not gonna live on nostalgia and be like, man, because it was in my era, he was better. It's like you can see off the eye test. That's like saying KD isn't better than T-Mac. KD's better than T-Mac. But I'll have niggas to this day arguing to me, T-Mac's better than KD. It's like, come on, bro, look at the eye test. Like, just watch their games comparative. KD's game is on a whole nother level than T-Mac's. T-Mac was amazing, absolutely amazing, Hall of Famer, but KD's better. He's just better. The game has evolved to that extent. Now, both sides is different. Like if I'm talking about overall, if I'm talking like T-Mac, like a lot of the players back then, they were defensive and offensive. Nowadays, it's a lot more offensive because defense doesn't matter as much. But that is also the reason why a lot of these players are much better offensively than what we're used to seeing because the emphasis is strictly on offense. So we're seeing absolute offensive group. Like Luka Doncic, he's about to go down one of the best ever. Like Luka, like who's better than Luka in the era we just named? Other than maybe like what, Kobe, T-Mac.
I'm taking D-Wade over that nigga.
AI. I would not take D-Wade over Luka. Hell no. Nah.
After that 06 performance, nigga, yeah, I gotta take D-Wade, nigga.
Luka had Shaq. If Luka had Shaq, he would do the same thing. I'm not taking D-Wade over Luka. I could live in the past as much as I want.
You won't.
And I don't even like Luka. I do not like that man. I don't like how he plays. It irritates me. He's slow.
Wade play defense. I'm taking.
He's cold.
You get 34 and still play defense. I'm taking.
But that's you're proving my point where I'm saying I'm like, I understand both sides of the ball were very important back then. Kobe played both sides. T-Mac played. D-Wade played. Everyone played both sides of the ball. Nowadays, you can't gauge that because defense doesn't matter anymore. It's team defense. It's not individual defense.
Who I would take, I'm taking D-Wade, regardless what you don't want to factor in. If my player can play both ends, he's that much better. That's the only reason why Kawhi is still talented as one of the best niggas in the league is because he played both ends.
That's what you say. Nobody says that other than you.
Bet your money.
No, I mean, unless they're a fanboy, unless they're a fanboy, I don't got time for fanboys. I got time for realistic.
Before Kawhi got hurt, niggas were saying he was top 10 in the league. I promise.
Yeah, before he got hurt, nigga been hurt for 2 years.
That doesn't still knock what I'm saying. I'm saying if he didn't have
defense, he hasn't played in 2 years.
If he didn't have defense, niggas would not have put him in the top 10 because he doesn't score necessarily prolific enough.
I don't believe that. Niggas was hailing that nigga as the next KD and the next Kobe Bryant when he won with Toronto, and nobody was talking about the defense.
That's what he was doing the most. He was locking niggas up.
Nobody was talking about it. Niggas was just talking about what he could do on the offensive side. Look at that fadeaway. Look just like Kobe's.
I was hearing the defense. But anyway,
whoever was talking that shit, tell him be quiet. No one cares about defense in today's game. No one does. Who's playing great individual defense? And if you are, it does not affect the game anymore because everything is team-oriented. Everything is team-oriented, defense and offense. What's good with it? Let's talk about it. He said, what's good? Just got here. Who's top 10? They came up with the most random shit. But we lowball got a little bit distracted off of because we get, Zimby talking that bullshit, man. I just got to let him get it off.
Nah, this guy over here is just headstrong. But
let me ask you this: because it's only been my thoughts. What are your thoughts on that first statement that KD made? Because you definitely didn't give your opinion on it.
It's weak to me. I'm like, he didn't even have to even speak on it for real.
Disclaimer, y'all. Zen is a fake a supporter of KD, so he's like one of them guys who act like he supports something when he has a chance to hate. He'll hate. Go ahead.
This guy is crazy. Just like you with Kyrie, man. I want to hear it.
I've been straight up with Kyrie. I never give fake nothing. Kyrie is trash, and he's shown it through and throughout. I'm saying that's on the court. As a human being, I have every right to support his stance as a man. I am in full support of what he's doing as a man outside the court. But I'll always be critical of him on the court.
On the court, I'm going to criticize KD, though, because other people don't want to criticize him. And when I mean criticize him correctly.
Interesting. Okay. What's the correct way to
criticize him
criticize?
correctly. Because I'm saying a statement like this, you didn't hear nobody, and you can't, and this got nothing to do with no talent, or because your statement was, well, guys today are better than the guys back in the day. But I never heard Kobe, I never heard Shaq, I never heard T-Mac, I never heard them guys say, oh, well, we're playing like shit, so you know they're gonna blame me. I ain't never heard no superstar ever say that, bro. Usually they say, we're gonna figure things out, and right now we're going through a rough patch, but we just keep trucking at it. We're gonna be good. Like Jimmy Butler, they were losing over there. He said, I don't give a damn what our record is right now. We gonna get to the playoffs and probably go back to the finals. He's speaking, believing, and receiving that. That's how he's feeling. He's like, I'm gonna speak this thing. I don't care. We 0-5, 0-10 right now. We gonna go to that finals. You feel me? So that's what I'm saying. I'm just talking about throwing your teammates under the bus when you were okay with majority of the decisions happening. Like James Harden coming, you were okay with that. Getting rid of James Harden, you were okay with that. So it's like, well, you can't be okay with certain things, but then at the same time be like, well, if we lose, it's gonna be all on me. I don't know. I just don't respect that. I just feel like he could have just ignored it, if anything, if that's how he felt. Like, just keep that internally to yourself or your team. You didn't need to have a public statement on, that's just my opinion. I don't think that he should have.
So I agree. I agree with you on that. Like I said, I'm the statements he made, I'm definitely not in agreement with. Like I have come to accept that, what I'm saying, he's showing that he doesn't necessarily want to take a leadership role. I will say this though, the one thing I can like play devil's advocate in this situation is he did request a trade in the offseason, right? So it's kind of like, all right, he already kind of showed he doesn't want to be on this team. So it's almost like he's coming into this interview after he took that L, and he's saying these things. He's kind of just reiterating what he's already told us in the summer. Like, I had no faith in the roster that was constructed. I didn't think we can go anywhere. What do you expect from us? What do you expect me to do? It's like, yeah, we can be like, yeah, why aren't you the usual rah guy? Why aren't you usually, LeBron-esque, Kobe-esque, T-Mac, and say, yeah, we're gonna get to the championship, whatever. What if he's like deep down, he's like, yeah, I could tell you guys that, but deep down he's like, I don't think that. Why am I gonna lie? This is what it is. I don't think we're that good. LeBron kind of did the same thing with the Lakers. He said, hey, when they asked him about, why aren't you, making threes, shooting threes, he said, our team isn't constructed to make threes. This is what we have. So obviously he's a lot more subtle with it. He doesn't do it in a way where it seems like necessarily he's degrading the team and saying the talent isn't there, but
that's my problem, though. It's nothing wrong with being truthful, but also not being a certain way. It's like you talking to your chick, right? You could be blunt, be like, is this dress good? And you can be like, that shit look ugly as fuck. Burn that shit. Or you could be like, I just don't think it's probably appropriate for when we're about to go. You're basically saying that you don't really fuck with it, but you're trying to be polite and say it's just probably not good for it or not. You get what I'm saying? It's all about how you saying things. You know what I'm saying?
But don't you think there has to be a point in our lives where it's like, if I say, hey, shut up, or if I say, shut up, it's the same thing. If I say, hey, man, you a bitch. Or if I say, man, you a bitch. It's the same thing. The disrespect is still there. Why do we have to be so worried about how it's being said rather than what the message is?
I mean,
and I know in team building situations, it is important. Company situation is important. Like, that's all life is how you say it, not what is being said. But at some point, we got to be like, yo, let's live in reality a little bit.
I hear what you're saying. And I'm not saying you're necessarily wrong, but we're going to the empathy part now. It's right. It's like, if you're going to be an asshole, just be the asshole then. If you want to say bitch like that, then just be like that all the time. Don't turn it off and turn it on when you want to. Just be like that all the time, and we know what it is. But if you're going to be nice to this one person, but then I see you talking to me a certain type of way, I'm going to be like, why does he get a certain type of way you speak to him, but when it comes to me, you want to feel like you get me? So it's like with KD, it's like, why do you feel all of a sudden you want to just start speaking like this? You should have spoke like this in the summer, and maybe you would have just got traded where you wanted to go.
But he did a little bit. I'm like, obviously it wasn't to this extent, but he requested a trade, and he said he wanted the GM and the coach fired. When has KD ever done it? He never even spoke against Westbrook. He never spoke against Draymond.
But it's crazy though because he signed a 4-year extension though. So it's like if
Fair
you
enough.
knew you didn't want to be there, nigga, you shouldn't have signed that shit. You see Brian when he resigning, that nigga like 1 extra year, 1 extra year. He not doing 5 years and then be like, I don't like what's going on.
But in okay, so in fairness to KD, a lot of people don't remember this. LeBron used to sign long-term deals. If you guys don't remember, he actually switched that after he did his Miami Heat run and he came back to the Cavs. If you guys don't
No, he
remember,
didn't.
he had a lot of beef with the Cavs owner.
I thought he did a 4-year deal with the Cavs.
So
No,
when
he did a 2-year deal. He
he
split
did
it
a
up.
two,
You're right.
and
Yeah, he
it
did
was
2 years, 2
it was
years.
supposed to be a 4, but he did a 2-year with the option, I believe.
Yeah,
But
and
and I
then he
remember
did
at the
another
time, and then he
2 year
took a
after that.
lot less money doing it, and a lot of people criticized him. And his argument was he didn't really say this, word for word, obviously, but basically to sum it up, he's not on good terms with the Cavs owner. He remembers what the Cavs owner did when he left from Miami. He was basically saying, I'm putting the power back into the players' hands. Stop signing these long-term deals where you're locked in with the team. Sign short-term deals. Maybe take a little bit less money. I know it's not ideal, but now you have control of your future. And he's done that to this day. What's crazy is it didn't catch on.
Talking about Brian or
Yeah. Like him doing that, he probably thought he was going to have all type of players doing that.
I remember because when he came back, it was like a 3-year deal, but it was a 2-year really, and then it was like a player option, and then
player
he ended up
option,
signing like an extra year, and then that's when he ended up leaving.
Yeah, and remember he said no to the player option, and he signed a year deal, and took less money so he can try and stack up that Cavs team. It didn't work,
But see, the only reason I can't feel all the way bad for KD is because you made the decision to go to the Warriors, right? And niggas already knew how Draymond was at that time. It wasn't like that shit was a secret. So my thing with KD is like, nigga, when you got there and it wasn't ideally what you wanted, you can't have best of both worlds. You can't get what you want and how the team plays, but then don't like how this nigga talks to you. It's like having a good job, but you don't like how your boss, might say little sneaky shit or always you feel like your name is in his mouth, but you getting what you want at the same time. So it's like you left and now you're mad again because you're not, you get what I'm saying? It's like you should have just stayed, bro. You could have got 4-5 rings by now.
So this would be my dispute to this. Real quick, I do like this comment from Let's Talk About it. He said, let's be honest, if Durant plays well and they still lose, they're going to say he can't take a team to the playoffs or the championship. So in reality, we'll fall back on him. Basically saying, whether you want to have a leadership role or not, any team he goes to outside of Golden State Warriors or outside LeBron being on the team, they're going to be like, hey, you're the leader because you're the best player on the team for the most part, or Giannis at this point probably. But I still even think if he went to the Bucks, they would still find a way to blame it on KD because I still think KD's slightly better.
If he went to the Bucks, bro, them niggas not gonna lose none. Fool.
I'm like, look, KD and LeBron could have been on the same team, and this is why I know. But they know they're the best two players
in the
right
world
now, and they don't want to do that. But let's not act like they could have made something happen.
Bro, once he went to play with Wade, bro, we knew anything could happen, nigga.
Well, see, I don't even believe that because I think we overhype Wade and Chris Bosh. Like, and this is me maybe being a LeBron fan, and I'm gonna get back to my point real quick. This might be but one, Chris Bosh was never looked at as that good during that time. Nobody ever talked about Chris Bosh. No one ever seen like Chris Bosh was nowhere near a Kevin Garnett level. D Wade is better than a Ray Allen, yes. In some eyes, in other eyes, he's not. Me personally, now that I'm older, is actually very close. Ray Allen and D Wade. You can look at me crazy, but if you do, you didn't watch him when he was with the Milwaukee Bucks, and you didn't watch him with the Seattle Sonics. If D Wade didn't have Shaq, he wouldn't have had that 06 championship by himself. That's not taking anything away from him, but I'm just saying Ray Allen and D Wade are very close when it comes to.
I don't like that narrative though, because that's like saying Kobe wouldn't have 3 rings without Shaq. I don't like that. Niggas kind of parted each other good. You can't.
We don't know. Just the same way you can say Shaq wouldn't have 3 rings without Kobe. I'm like, it takes a certain type of team.
But I'm saying that diminishes that player when you do things like that, in my opinion, because it's like you're trying to say that, oh, well, he only got that ring because of that one nigga.
Getting a championship is a team win. Like, I hate when people try to make it seem as if it's an individual stat because we try to say, hey, all the greats have rings. Yes, that's true, but all the greats who have rings also have great teams. So it's like I feel like it's actually disingenuous to say that they could have had that ring without the other player when we know that's not true. Great championship teams are that teams. They're not individuals. There's no team that won a championship and you couldn't name 1 or 2 other players that were just as pivotal as the main guy that a lot of us like to talk about. That's my personal opinion. Like, come on. I look
But
at the opposite. I'm feeling passionate right now. But real quick, let me get back because I definitely veered off mad when it came. Man, I don't even remember my point I was saying about Durant.
you're
Damn.
just saying that if he's not on those teams, that he gonna they gonna blame him.
Yeah, but I had like a specific point I was trying to make as far as Durant, like as far as basic, not necessarily the blame on him, but as far as the position Durant is in comparison to another superstar. But I don't remember, so I'm not even gonna try and sweep that back up.
But I just
But
think that like that's something you gotta warrant. Like KD said he just wants to hoop, right? But in doing hooping, you knew that at one point you wanted to be the best player in the world. And then you got to that stage. So when you get to that stage, you gotta embody the pressure, right? Jordan, all these niggas that was number one at one point in their career embodied that, all right, bet. When we lose, I gotta take that shit on the chin and I gotta figure it out. It's like KD, what makes you feel like you better and don't gotta do something like that? You feel me? You just like, I don't want to do that. It's like, well, nigga, stop being that good then. Just go and be a 6-man nigga or something, or just, you feel me, tone your shit down then. And then niggas won't have that expectation. But when you a top 5 nigga in the league, it's like, nigga, your team should at least get past the first round.
But I'm confused on what we're arguing because I'm like Durant has rings, right? But you would say, oh, but it's because he was with X, Y, and Z. But when you by yourself, you didn't. But he went to the Western, the Western Conference Finals when it was just him and Westbrook. And some would have said Durant was the best player on the team, even though Westbrook probably, in my personal opinion at the time, I think Westbrook was better at the time. I think Durant got better, a lot better, fine wine type shit. You know what I'm saying? But I think at that time when they played together, I thought Westbrook was a better player. But I do want to speak on this because I kind of remember a little bit what I was saying a little bit before. It was in regards to what he was saying in the interview, where basically he was, it seems like he's giving up on his team. I just want to piggyback on he said, and he made it known during the summer that he didn't want to play with this team. This is before everything that was going on with Kyrie. So my only, I guess, pushback, even though I don't feel like he should have said it, especially with how their season is going, is that he's not saying anything new. It's just a different way.
It's more elaborate.
It's more elaborate. Yeah. But it's like he said he didn't want to, like he wanted a trade. Like if someone requests a trade, what more is saying I don't want to be here anymore than saying I want to go?
Well, it's crazy though, Flu, because this is all just trade talk. I told you there's another thing. I still haven't said the other shit.
Pull it up.
I already got it up. He said, look at our starting lineup. We have Edmond Sumner, Royce O'Neal, Joe Harris, and Nick Claxton, and me. It's not disrespect, but what are you expecting me to do from that group? You expect us to win because I'm on there?
Real quick, if I was on the bench, I'd be like, damn, nigga, I'm playing too. I'm getting at least 15 minutes a night. You didn't say my name, nigga. It's not just the starters. I'd have been hurt. I'd be like, fuck you, Durant. But hey, Durant's getting older, man. Durant's what, 33 now? I don't think he cares, man.
He's 34.
34? I don't think he cares. I think at this point, he's just like, look, I love my teammates, but come on, what we going to do? What we going to do? He'd probably say that to their face. I think if Kyrie was playing right now, I still think he would say the same statement.
But he wouldn't put Kyrie's name in there, though, because Kyrie was averaging 30. So it's like,
you better put Kyrie's name up in there.
But he didn't put Ben Simmons nigga in there. Fuck Kyrie.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you like, how you gonna disrespect these niggas? You're not gonna put Ben Simmons because you think I don't admit when I'm wrong? Yeah. I was wrong about Ben Simmons.
Okay, yeah.
I was one of those guys. I defended him.
Yeah,
I was saying he was this. He was that.
I'm glad Blue's coming to some.
I'm gonna be 100 with Ben Simmons. I was wrong. He's trashed. Like, I got no argument. This man looks like, I'm like, he went from a point guard to a
center, backup center.
Not even a backup center. He's like Joel Anthony. I don't know what's going on, man. He has the same contribution to the game.
Joel Anthony did not have superstar ambitions.
So that's a compliment to Joel Anthony. I'm like, bro, you just as good as Ben. Don't let nobody tell you shit. Like, what'd you do? Like, I want to chip with Miami Heat, and I was more.
Niggas was saying he was better than Lamar Odom at one point. Like, wow.
Yeah, no, not even close. Lamar Odom's way better than Ben Simmons. Way better.
Lamar Odom was cold.
Way better. That's interesting. And it's weird because real quick, this is a little bit off the rails, but it's like I hate how I'm almost going against my own point earlier, but I hate how we compare players now when we go by statistics. Obviously, because we have to be relative because the game's changed. It's much easier to score now than it was before. So it's like you look at Lamar Odom stats. I think it's like 14, 7, 6,
11.
Yeah, 11.
Yeah, like when he first got to Lakers, he was like 15, 10, 15, 9, 15, 10. And then
I mean, like his career stats. He's probably like
it's like
13,
14, 13, like
7
boards, like 4 or 5 assists.
And you look at that and be like, oh, that he was an average player because that's what kind of like average players now would. But it's like, nah, you don't understand. The league was so different. Like those statistics is amazing in that league. Like that man, Lamar Odom, much better player than Ben Simmons. But yeah. Go back to your point. Yeah, I don't understand why he didn't say anything about Ben Simmons, but that shows you kind of how the league is built. Like, it's like he knows who not to offend. Because remember who Ben Simmons is also with. Remember who his agent is. Yep.
But
there's probably something in his contract where if you slander that man's name, you can get fined or something.
But I'm saying though, like, we still never seen a superstar name drop like that. Like when Kobe was losing, nigga. When Dwight was on the team, and I remember, nigga, because I was a part of that shit, nigga. I remember I was watching them games, and we was under 500, and niggas like you was talking shit, talking about, ha, your Lakers suck. I remember Kobe turned that shit on, nigga. He didn't blame nobody. He didn't say Nash is old as dirt. Dwight is being a punk. He didn't say nothing like that. He just went out there and wailed them niggas to the offs. Ended up tearing his Achilles because he was playing too hard.
Can I, in defense, though?
Now, granted, I'm not, it's hard to compare a nigga like Kobe. Kobe's clearly one-on-one.
So but not even that. But I'm like, in defense of KD, we both agreed to is KD barely ever actually says anything. This is the first time we've actually heard him be like, yeah, my team's not that good. And it kind of makes me go back to be like, is he really saying his team isn't that good? Or is he just reiterating what he said in the summer where it's just like, yo, nothing's changed. I still don't want to be here. But I'm here hooping and I'm having fun doing it. And I'm enjoying it because I'm older and I know I can't do this forever. But I don't want to be on the Brooklyn Nets. Do you think that's just all it really gets code word for?
But it's crazy because he talks shit about the New York Knicks. And if he was on the Knicks right now, that nigga would probably be going to the offs easy, nigga. They got everything over there that nigga need. They got a solid big. They got Julius Randle, a solid 4. They got RJ Barrett that does not mind jacking shots. You got Jalen Brunson over there. You got Derrick Rose. You got Evan Fournier. You got everything that you would need to go win basketball games. The Knicks are a solid basketball team. Only problem they have is they don't really have a true definite superstar over there. That's all they missing. I wish D Rose was in his prime. He would lead them niggas to the offs because D Rose was different.
But remember why KD went to Brooklyn?
He said he didn't want to go to the Knicks. He said the Nets were played out. No, I'm telling you what he said. This is coming from his words. It was in all the.
I know he said that, but that wasn't the reason why he's saying that. He went to Brooklyn because of Kyrie. They wanted to play together. Kyrie didn't want to go to the Knicks. KD didn't want to go to the Knicks. Neither one of them wanted to.
And them niggas are foolish because that's one of the biggest markets. And them niggas would have been having the more resources for niggas. Niggas will want to go to New York Knicks before them niggas will want to go to the Brooklyn Nets, bro.
Trendsetters, man. Trendsetters. These are young men. They wanted to do. They're millionaires, multimillionaires. The Knicks have always been the Mecca. Brooklyn Nets is new. Let's make the Brooklyn Nets the new shit.
But when you're trying to set something up like that, you cannot back down in the middle of the journey. Be like, well, I don't like the way the team is now. Trade.
And this is where I argue. See, you sounding like Shannon Sharp, man. I'm like, this is where I argue is like the things that have happened. Like KD wants to hoop. As much as I got my beef with Kyrie on the court, he could have not predicted that Kyrie was finna go on this, you know what I'm saying, Hotep, I'm finna protest and speak for my people and possibly never play a game again. KD ain't know that.
But he can't be surprised of it neither.
And
KD shown that he's that type of person.
But my thing is, KD is more cool with Kyrie than James Harden was with Kyrie. James Harden came over here. He said, I'm not that cool with this nigga Kyrie. I'm not on this Hotep shit. I'm out. Left. KD's like, this is my guy. This is my dog. I'm going to stick with it. But he got fed up. I don't think he got fed up with Kyrie. I just really think, I think in KD's mind, he thinks they so good. And I think Kyrie feels this way too. And I'm not mad at it because they should feel this way because, you know, without them, the organization would not be thriving. But obviously, time moves on. They'll find some other person to stick in there and be able to take the place. But Durant, his mind is like, man, just let Kyrie play. Why is it such a big deal? You're willing to pay him this amount of money. You're willing to listen to whatever he's asking for. Why does it get a problem when he doesn't want to get the vaccination? Why is it a problem when he tweeted a link about this and that? So Katie's like, if this is how you're going to handle this and you're not going to treat your superstars like superstars, I'd rather go somewhere else where they can treat me like a superstar, and I'm not mad at it. Real quick, let's talk about this. I think y'all both are right. I think D-Wade need a big man and happen to be Shaq. He also said that's facts. I think sometimes the truth hurts. Bring up anybody else's starting five and then compare it. He said, I think the reason that Kyrie went to go to the Knicks, to the Nets, is because they left Jersey to come to Brooklyn. He's from Jersey. Yeah, that was one of the main reasons. He put that out there. And then let's talk about says, stop that. So he's I don't know if he's coming, but stop that. Kyrie didn't do anything wrong, but post something, and then he apologized. The promise. Kyrie has a voice and is scared. No one said he was wrong in the media. Now they've been destroying him in the media. I might have misread that a little bit. You might be tired,
Hey,
but
you know what's really crazy though, Flu? Like it's like right now, if I was like, you said something during this podcast, right? And I was like, Fluence, he's wrong, and he says some really hurtful things. And then somebody asks me in the comment section, what did Flu say? He said some very hurtful things. I don't even want to say like the word, the anti, whatever, but like he said some anti-hurtful things. But it's like when people keep asking the why, nobody has the answer to that. Even the media, like when people are saying like, yeah, he said like he was wrong, like Shannon, he was going off saying he was wrong. This was like he made it seem like he knew exactly the answer to what he said or did wrong. But nobody has answered that question yet. What did he say? What was so offensive that what was said? Did any of you guys watch and document the link that he showed to that thing, so you could reference on what he insinuated or tried to insinuate? You get what I'm saying? It's like nobody.
What's crazy is though, like what can be like what's so weird about it is like he just posted a link, like he didn't put a caption to it, like, yo, my brothers and sisters, this is an amazing documentary. Y'all need to watch this. And once y'all watch this, I promise you can understand the struggle we've been going through and how we're gonna overcome it. Salute my brothers. Like nothing. Like he just tweeted a link. Like what? Like how do you know?
And it's on a platform that y'all support,
Amazon. So I'm like, to me, I'm like, all this it's not coincidental. This stuff is orchestrated. This stuff is to keep us distracted. I'm not gonna go too far in that rabbit hole, but I'm like, just the way things have been ordered and the way things have happened, entertainment, deaths, this, I'm like, all this it's not a coincidence. It's not something where it gives like, oh, look, I'm so happy we have more talking points. This stuff is, you know what I'm saying? But
is it fair to also say that they low-key been waiting for something to get Kyrie for him to not be able to play no more? Because remember,
of course,
the whole big thing last year or the last 2 years was to get what? You don't got to say the word, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's not a coincidence either that he had that controversy then. Now all of a sudden we thought he was gonna have a clear and cut season. Everyone was like, let's see what like they were making him out as a troublemaker last year. Like, let's see if Kyrie can stay out of trouble this year. Well, look at him, he's still the bad kid.
Yeah,
put him in timeout. Like this is like
it was crazy. Dave Chappelle made me laugh. He was like, Kanye West got in so much trouble, Kyrie got in trouble. I was wrong. Bro, I was rolling. I was like, he is a fool.
Yo, that's funny.
That's
lowball what it feel like, bro.
Kyrie West got in so much trouble. Kyrie got in trouble.
It's like when you a kid, you hanging out with the bad kid. I'm like, that nigga just do so much bad shit. You just around them. They like, nigga, you with this same shit. I bet. It's like that's what I'm saying. I'm like, shit is too. It's not a coincidence.
Hey, Flu, and we both, you feel me? We both been in environments where we've seen trench people. You feel me? People from just the trench. The whole ideal on those people are what? That they're bad people, correct? But when you go really look at it and you know the inside, you don't know how he's raised, you don't know what's going on, you don't know why he acts the way he acts. You just see what he shows you, so you like he's bad. But then if you go and live a day in his life, you're like, God damn, my boy, how you even living out here? You get what I'm saying? So I'm like,
it's weird too, because I'm like, people pick out the easiest, or people pick out the things that are gonna most likely agree with what their stance already is, or at least make whatever their stance look a little bit more powerful. When in reality, a lot of times these people, it's just a look. I'm like, when you come across like, that's why I love, sometimes I like watching, this is random, but I like watching some of those like authentic prank YouTube channels, not the fake ones, but I'm like those ones on the come up where like they in Walmart type shit.
Yeah.
And you realize they always, all of them who do it, they're always around black people. And our reactions are always the best. Cause we're never like really looking, like we're always really genuine. So I'm like, people have such a bad, like a misconception because they're just, they just really don't understand. They have an idea, oh, if this looks a certain way, it's going to behave a certain way, act a certain way. But then when you actually interact, you're proven wrong. But unfortunately, shit be so instilled in a lot of people's brain, they still be like, this isn't computing right. I'm still gonna believe what I believe. You just an anomaly when really we're the norm. You know what I'm saying?
It was crazy because this we gonna get to well, I mean, we kind of really still on topic, but it kind of Dr. Umar made a because he's a child psychologist, and he was saying like you know, these black children in class, and he be using the names and stuff. I'm not gonna use the names he be using, but he was like, you know, I'll have to use the names. He's like, you know, Latrice or Darrell, or you feel me? They're in class, and you guys say they're disruptive and they can't focus in class, and they can't do this and they can't do that. So he has ADHD. He's like, no, he doesn't have
Shit,
ADHD.
I know that was me.
He was like, but his thing was they don't have ADHD. The teacher doesn't know how to teach him. The teacher's teaching him stuff that he doesn't relate to. Nothing in school relates to the person that they're trying to teach him. So in reality,
But,
and then, oh, go ahead.
No, even on to that, because I know but like, what's sad about that is we're only now knowing or realizing it. And even, if you're older, if you're outside of like probably like 40, you're probably like kind of just stuck in your ways. But I'm like, you're realizing it because you see the change in the internet. You're seeing the change in like money isn't in, I need to know literature, I need to know mathematics, I need to know science. I'm like, that's not real no more. Everyone understands that to make money in this world doesn't directly translate to those teachings. So it's like being in a classroom and someone is teaching you, like, I'm talking about how Columbus came and found America. Well, you can easily go on Google and see that Columbus wasn't the first person to find America. So how are you still teaching this in school? You see what I'm saying? So it's like when there's things like that being placed, it's like it's almost like unfair. It's like all along we've been brainwashed. At one point we were being taught the pyramid when it comes to the food pyramid, where bread and milk was one of the most important things to eat, and we now know bread and milk is one of the worst things you can eat on a regular basis as a human being. We have so much false information as us as kids because we went to school and this is what they said was what was right.
Hey, when they doing poetry, we got to snap for that, boy.
I'm telling you, I'm like, it's bullshit. So it's like, nigga, Google can be your teacher if you want me to be 100.
But it's just when he was saying that though, I related to it so much because I remember, my teacher would be like, "Oh, challenge to hyper, challenge to this." He's like, "But that's how our people are. We interactive, we talk, we did it up." But to that racist, teacher, oh, he's being a disruptor, he's being a nuisance, he's unteachable. So now you put him in the special ed. Now he's off drugs, and his whole thing is like 80 Adderall is like one step or some. It's like a couple chemicals away from the crack and all the other, serious drugs is what his thing is. He's like, so you tell the adults that don't do drugs, but then you give it to the kids. I'm like, dang, that's crazy. I didn't even think of it like that. Like you really give an 8-year-old Adderall so he could focus.
But I'm like, all that shit, you don't believe in your kid if that's the case. If you don't understand your kid's hyper, that's crazy. That's like being mad at a dog when it's a puppy that's always jumping the fuck around.
Facts though, like, but you
gotta
remember though, some parents aren't parents, right? Some parents just had,
or they're just not, or they just don't know, they're not prepared, and they listen to whatever the fuck is in front of them.
Honestly, so the teacher says he's hyper. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll go ahead and make sure he get right at home. You know what I'm saying? Versus being like, son, what was the real problem? Look,
but I would rather have the parent, like, even if it's wrong discipline, I'd rather have them discipline them in the home than give them drugs.
Yeah,
you can shake off an ass whooping, nigga. You still gonna feel drugged up after Adderall, nigga.
Hey, bro, you really need to go get a comedy special, dog. You be having them Dave Chappelle one. You can shake off an ass whooping, but you can't shake off the drugs.
Nah, nigga, you get Adderall in your system, you feel that to the next day. You be like, what is wrong with me? You get ass whooping, you gonna cry for like 15 minutes. You gonna be back being good.
Because you know what I noticed, bro, in a lot of these TV shows that people that got quote unquote like bipolar, they have like instability in themselves. And they say when they take the medicine, it suppresses a lot of the stuff. But all the whole narrative for all of them is it makes me feel weak. It makes me feel unmotivated. It makes me feel like I just don't want to do nothing. So it makes them like feel like a zombie more so. So it's like they want to make you a zombie instead of really getting you real help. It's like a quick fix. You know what I'm
These
saying?
are addictive drugs, right? Also, with it suppressing what you're used to, is going to be when you actually end up feeling the emotions, is going to feel unnatural. So you're not going to know how to deal with them when you don't have it. A lot of times when you come to these, like a lot of people, like it's weird. There was a mental health therapist. Mental health is important, but this idea of going to a therapist and talking to a therapist, one, is very expensive. The average person can't do that, and two, a lot of times when you talk to a therapist, they prescribe drugs. You go, you talk to them, and then afterwards, they're like they're one of the easiest ways to get prescription drugs to deal with mental health is going to a therapist. That's what half of the reason why you're paying so much is because they can write you a note. You can go up to the pharmacy and they'll give it to you.
Yeah, because they're
So I'm
like
like,
a licensed doctor technically, right?
not necessarily a licensed doctor.
Well,
They're
not like,
actually,
but they have like a their
yeah, I don't know what it's called, but they have the right to prescribe. It's kind of like if you go to the dentist. So it's, yeah, similar doctor. Yeah, it is similar, but it's like for mental health in a sense.
Let's hit some of these questions. We missed he said, hey, let me ask y'all a
Oh, I
question.
forgot. We did not answer that at all. I just skipped through. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, let me ask y'all a question though. The being though New York have to rehire everybody that refused the vaccine, do Kyrie get his payback? No. That's going right to the league. Or the owner, whoever is cutting the checks, is going right to his pockets.
Yeah,
Look,
Kyrie. What you guys don't understand, when you're an NBA player, even though obviously, um, they have the Players Association, etc. for the union. They're technically independent contractors.
mm-hmm.
So when they don't play and they say you don't get your money, you don't get your money, and
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what the state ends up or the government comes and says about if you're like a W-2 worker. They're not W-2 workers technically.
they're 1099s, right?
Yeah.
But now, if you're a W-2
Now
worker, no, those people, I don't know.
the rookies, I think the rookies and stuff, they're on like something similar to that. But I think when you get to the point where you're making like hundreds of millions, it like, I'm pretty sure you're not filling out a W-2. I'm pretty sure you're a 1099 worker at that point. So
That's
I'm
what I
like,
mean.
when you're making that much money, they're most likely individual contractors. Or excuse me, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, he's not getting his money back for that. He could probably try and sue the league and try and get his money back, but he'll probably lose that. Or
And
he'll lose more money than what he'll gain.
yeah,
Excuse me.
that's whatever.
Let's talk about, say, my son is on no vaccine. He's 4. Teacher called me, says run around the classroom while she was teaching, but she failed to tell me that he was finished all his work because it's too easy. There you go. There you go. That's one
Dang,
of those tactics
boys.
as well. That's one of the tactics when, because you see, and I don't want to sound, teachers are underpaid. They're not appreciated. So it's like a lot of them, it's like we're dealing with all these other kids. I gave them the work. Like they don't know how to handle a kid who's smart and who can get through the work fast, especially when they're at a younger age. Because a lot of times in their heads, it's like, what am I supposed to do extra to keep them occupied? I need them to behave. And if they're not behaving, then they're a problem child, even though they already finished the work. So it's like, I do, what I'm saying, understand from the teacher standpoint, but as long as let's talk about it as a parent, like my kid's fine. It's just like, hey, he's done with the work. It was too easy. He went, and as a young kid should, he utilized the rest of his energy because there was nowhere else to put the energy. He shouldn't be punished for that. But the problem was, back in our day, we would be punished for that because it was looked at as if we were being disobedient. When now we're smarter and we understand that, what I'm saying, that's definitely not the case. He said, but they was doing it because of the state. So if that's the reason why he should get his back pay, even though I'm an independent contractor there in that state, he lives in New Jersey. Yeah, but it's different though, man. When you in an organization like the NBA, you don't fight that. I'm like, what they say
Who's
goes.
you going against? Them people,
Yeah.
the untouchables. The untouchables, who you think represents the NBA? You think he got time to go against the people that are condemning him? That's a waste of his time, especially solo.
It's not
Ain't
like
like
he's
he
just
got the
working for a
NCAA.
corporation. It's the NBA. I'm like, we have to acknowledge the powers that be. Like, this isn't no.
Now, if the NAACP was going to front all the cost for his battle, then that'd be different.
Then go for it, yeah. Or if the Players Association with the NBA, the union, if they wanted to step in, but they're not
If that's
doing
not
that.
the case, why would he put up his own money that he's already losing money now because he's already been suspended with no pay, so he's not getting paid now.
And he already put up his own money with an apology, and no one cared. Nigga lost. A lot of people don't remember. Last year, Kyrie, he put up $2 million for WNBA players who wasn't able to play because I think it was the vaccine. And I know he's regretting that like a motherfucker right now. He's probably like,
but isn't that crazy though, bro? Out of all the people in the league, he's the one that did that, right? And I remember I had tweeted something like that. Somebody said that's a tax write-off. I'm like, you're missing the point. The point is nobody else. If this is a tax write-off, then why did nobody else think of it then?
You know what's crazy is people always say rich people when they do something, it's a tax write-off. But I'm like, do you understand what a tax write-off is? It has to be associated with your business. It has to be associated with, like, I'm spending this money in order to further my business. Now, obviously, it wasn't clarified if it was out of his own pocket or if it was out of an LLC. That's something we'll probably never find out. But since it wasn't clarified, I can just go off of the fact that he donated that money.
But he also cared about them women not getting the money. Like, you feel me? There's richer people in the league than Kyrie.
And I was going to say, if it's a tax write-off, why isn't every NBA player doing that for WNBA?
That's what I'm saying, bro.
And obviously, also, it must not be that easy of a tax write-off. If you don't do it.
The craziest thing, bro, out of all the artists and out of all the NBA players, the only two niggas that donate to George Floyd's family, nigga, are who?
And real quick, let's talk about it. He said, but unconstitutional, you can't just take my money if you're saying that you found in New York State rules, take it so you can take millions. I guess you're right. Because I was about to say real quick, I was like, I don't care if it's constitutional or unconstitutional. The government can just take your money and not give you a reason why. That's what the IRS is.
You gonna look at your bank account. What happened to my money? Oh,
where is it? Somebody give me my shit back. And ain't nobody gonna give a fuck. He's gonna be like, was you reading the letters coming in the mail? Or was you ignoring them? I talked to him. Everything was cool. Now she calls me saying he fell asleep. I asked him why. He said he was bored. That means the work's too easy. Nowadays too, because I'm like, I don't got a kid, but I'm like, nowadays too, you gotta understand, man. They don't appreciate going outside, stuff like that. I remember back in our day, we used to have activities.
Niggas used to play street football, nigga, street basketball, nigga. Niggas used to ride bikes. They don't even ride bikes no more, nigga.
They don't do that no more because the vaccine shit. They trying to be safe.
Shit, nigga, my son, if I have one, nigga, I'm like, nigga, if you ain't outside, nigga, I'm breaking your system.
Yeah, nigga, in boxing. Let me ask you this real quick to go to the topic because we basically been talking about it, but we haven't either asked or answered this direct question. Do you think Kyrie Irving comes back this season and does he play basketball for the Brooklyn Nets or for a team period? That's a hard one, huh?
I'm not trying to compare him to somebody in the past, but we haven't seen something like this, bro. And clearly it was different. The times was different, all that. But we haven't seen somebody like this put their job on the line, making the type of money and having the type of recognition since Ali, right? Ali sacrificed the majority of his prime to stand on the rights of himself and, you feel me, what his people was fighting for. So I'm saying, I'm not trying to say that their causes are the same, but I'm saying as far as like, I don't think Kyrie's going to get to this point and fold. If that makes sense. So that's why it's hard for me to say, like, now, could they make those lists of demands shorter and then possibly he can do the ones he, you know, if they say, okay, just do some training and then just do this and then, you feel me, then you could come
Technically, they already did that, though.
What you mean? It was six things he had to do.
What I mean is, like, technically, they already put in place, this is what I need you to do. And
but I'm saying, make the list shorter So knock some of that stuff down, I'm saying. So it's like, okay, you're not doing these 6. How about 3 of them? A compromise, I'm saying.
Okay.
But even in that, Kyrie, regardless of what we want to say about him, skillfully, he's one of the most skillful niggas we've ever seen play the game. How he's finished the ball, whatever. You feel me? He might not have been the greatest leader. He might not have been the greatest, example as a basketball player or how to go about what a team thing might be. But for him himself, he could be like, I've done a lot of things that a lot of people wish they could do. And I'm at the point in my life, I want to make sure my kids, you feel me? Because people forget he's a father. I think that's the biggest thing people forget. Like when you're a father, like we're not fathers, me and you flew, but like we know, like we seen parents, like they might not always go about it the right way, but Kyrie around our age, right? So like you said, we see stuff that when we were younger, like, wait a minute, like that's what was going on. Like, you get me? And I think
It's
he's
gonna
like,
sound fucked up, but I'm like, come on now. You know she's making it hard on that nigga to see the kid. He don't give
huh?
a huh?
I didn't hear you.
I'm just saying, you know who he got a kid with. So I'm like, come on now. It's like it ain't just. I'm like, it's not like he's raising his kid up in a normal environment. I don't
He
necessarily,
had a kid with who do you have a kid with? I really don't
with the
know.
pop star, right?
Kaylani?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know it was with her.
I think that's who it's with.
Oh, I didn't know that.
If so, then he don't got one. But I'm pretty sure from what I remember
Oh, he has
when,
a kid?
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was her. So,
okay.
but
I
if
didn't,
I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I hope I'm wrong because I know that's not. So it's like I also understand. I'm like, Kyrie is on a whole different level when it comes to reality. He doesn't see reality. Like I almost see him as if like he wants to see shit the way us and us, what we see and what we're going through. And so he's almost like, how can I, you know,
put myself to a
in that
level so I can
position
see it. Grounded. There we go. I like that.
ground
Right.
himself? And it's almost like going through this stuff is probably making him feel more grounded than ever because he probably has a lot more people backing him than he ever thought he would have. That's outside of basketball. Because you have someone like me, you know how critical I've been of basketball with him, and I'm saying like I'm like his viewpoint and how he's going about this. I respect it. How can you not?
Facts.
I'm like it's very hard not to respect the route he's going, even though because I watched Craig Facts. You know what I'm saying? Even though to me personally, you know what I'm saying, I still enjoy it a lot, but it's falling off a little bit. But he criticized Kyrie a lot because he says, man, you were at the top, you have all this money. Why go about it the way you went about it? It almost seems like you didn't have a plan. It was just an accident.
Dang, so you
So
saw that
why are you
episode too?
saying sorry? Yeah. So it's like, why are you saying sorry? Like you saying sorry and you're messing up. And in my head, I'm just like, you don't know if he said sorry. His publicist did. His team had him donate that amount of money. But I'm like, Craig, you always talk about like being in the loop or not being in the loop and not understanding when you get to a certain point. You should know that's not him writing that on his IG. That's not him presenting that to the public when we're talking about sorry. That's what his team feels like it's the best interest to save his sponsorships, this, that. Kyrie could be in a position where he's saying, I'm not saying sorry. F all of them. His team still will go and put a statement forward and say,
Because they're
hey,
employees
on
of
behalf of Kyrie.
Kyrie.
Yes.
So they're
I'm like, you
we're
should
gonna
know
go and make
that.
sure that we don't lose our fucking job.
Yeah. I'm like, you should know that. So it's like, I get it. I see what you're saying, but at the end of the day, it's like I'm not so one-sided, or I'm not so like I don't allow something to dict. Yeah, like where I'm looking at something, I'm so surface level when I'm seeing it. Like it's obvious that Kyrie has a point that he's standing by. What's his reasoning behind it? If it's genuine, I don't know, but I gotta respect it because he's losing a lot of money, just like Kanye. It's like a lot of this shit sounds crazy. A
And
lot
we
of shit
talking
doesn't
about
sound.
NIGGAS. You know that no nigga is ever gonna jeopardize $6 billion, dog.
Mm-mm.
Not one person will ever do that. And that's why I respect Kanye, even if people like, oh, I don't know, he did it. I'm just like, look, you have to be a calculated person to know that that was going to happen. You don't talk the way he's talking and don't think that somebody ain't gonna get mad. You know what I mean? That's like talking back to your parents and don't think an ass whooping might not be coming around the corner. You're ready for the ass whooping. You're like, I've been waiting on the ass whooping all day. I knew I was gonna say what I wanted to say. You feel me? Or if not an ass from a punch, sock, whatever, you knew some type of repercussion was gonna come. So that's why when I'm like with Ye, I'm like, I think that people are underestimating on what he's really doing. Like they're acting like he has no plan. Sometimes making people think that is your best plan. Oh, he doesn't
Or
know
just
what he's
making
doing.
people think. Period. I'm like, real quick, I wanted to address it. Let's talk about. Say, y'all think if every black basketball player or player that thinks these demands are unfair, could they boycott? Muhammad Ali did have a lot of basketball. I think you mean basketball players and track players behind him. Yeah, he did, but you have to understand, Muhammad Ali was the only person who put his career on the line.
On the line.
The,
In the
the reason
prime
why,
though.
the reason why we're in the situation we are in today is because, as much as we respect Kyrie, as much as someone like me, I'm like, fuck the skills on the court, what he's doing outside is amazing. What white people understand is there's always going to be another player coming up young that's just as talented, and we're going to be able to put him in that position, and they're not going to push back. So that's the problem. That's almost why a lot of times I get but that's why I get so exhausted sometimes when I talk about like shit like this, where it's like I always wonder, it's like, are they just trying to distract us from the bigger picture? And then when we look back 2 years from now, we're saying, damn, we just missed how they were able to move the NBA into emotion or into a situation where it doesn't benefit us even more. Like that's what I'm trying to figure out, because I'm like, there's just too many situations where, yes, you might say no, but there's 5 people ready to say yes. And I remember when I was younger, I never understood that like that. But now I do. But it's because at the end of the day, life is short. Life isn't that long. A lot of us are just trying to enjoy it while we're here, enjoy the opportunities we're presented with, and we don't want nothing to come with it. But unfortunately, when you're born into this, there's certain things, especially when you're in a hierarchy or you're in a position that a lot of us can't get to, certain things are just placed upon you.
And you know what's even crazier? The tone me and Influence has, we get a lot of flack. I don't know about y'all. Y'all could probably be thinking like, nah, y'all don't, man. Fluke probably got his own personal stories. We both encountered it.
We're not little
together.
niggas. If we was little niggas, it might be different. No disrespect to y'all, but we're not little niggas. So like, even though we're light skinned, we're not little light skinned. If we were little light skinned niggas, it might be different.
Yeah.
But we're not. So it's like, we're going to be seen. So I think that's the big reason. I think if we were little, like we was like 5'8", 5'7", I think we probably would be able to scoot through some things. We probably wouldn't have as much shit to say. No disrespect to the little light skin. My bad.
But no, I knew what you're saying. I'm just saying, as far as just a lot of people, like, it's just like for the thing Kyrie is doing. That's why Kyrie they scared of, because he's talking to the millennials and the younger people coming up. And it's crazy because on the live when he was saying like, he was like, I'm talking about people that were born from 1990. He said 1990 to 2000.
But see, that's even him. That's even him having a small mindset. I wouldn't even be talking to them because I'm like, we all grown. 1990, but we grown. We're not making the change in the world. And you need to be talking about the niggas that is born from 2008
well, he
and up.
was categorizing it. He was just saying like, us, we have to be the thought, so the people in the Generation Z can be the spark. He's like, I'm not going to change nothing. He was like, it's going to be somebody that's going to see something like this. And that's why, you know, people don't like Kendrick. But I'm like, if you listen to his music, he's trying to spark something. He doesn't know.
Kendrick is mainstream. You know how I feel about Kendrick. Kendrick is mainstream. I'm like, there's so many dope artists that have been speaking that shit in a much more elaborate
way. Like KRS, well, we can go back in time. Like, niggas been on that. But I'm saying, as far as
I had a whole fucking mixtape about that back when we were in our early 20s.
Are you talking about NAACP? No, Black History Month.
Yeah, both.
Yeah, both of them.
Well, no, NAACP, that was the song on Black History. But yeah, Black History Month 1 and 2. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, as far as like just the message, it's like it's going, like you said, it's going to be somebody that's 10 right now. It might shoot. It could be, let's talk about it, son.
Yeah.
He thinks school too easy. He might at 15 be like, Pops, I'm out of here. I'm about to start my own business. He can be like, what the fuck, son? What you gonna do? He gonna tell him
that trade school or give him a
give him
an outlet after with some type of sport or something. You probably already doing that though. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, but yeah, bro, I'm like, it's just with Kyrie, I respect it, bro, because it's just like our people need something. You know what I mean? And it's like, change ain't gonna happen tomorrow. It's not gonna happen next week from now. But it gotta start at some point, right? It's like when you go to the gym, you gotta get there. And once you get there, then you gotta keep getting there. You gotta keep getting there. But see, with us, we've gotten so used to having our hand out, and we would expect people to give us stuff. And then when somebody is willing to give us stuff, we don't even realize that is what is it called? Quit pro roll? No, pro. Damn. You know what I'm talking about though?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I ain't finna say it right now. I'm gonna do it wrong.
You know what I'm talking about though, right? It comes with that, right? So it's like, and that's what is sad about a lot of artists. Because I remember, me and Flu been talking about this since like 2014, 15. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember he was breaking down the 360 deals, right? And so, majority of our people come from poverty. That's in the rap game. Majority.
I should have been a fucking manager. I knew all about this shit before it started. I played myself.
Shit, it's never too late. You can still do it.
I'm good. I found my path.
But you know what I'm saying? So, people that come from poverty, when I tell you, a handout mentality, right? So if somebody's coming to you and say, hey man, I'll give you $5 million for 5 albums, you think like, all right, bet, like that sounds good to me, right? Boom, you sign that, right? You don't even realize that you signed all your rights to your music away. They can tell you what you can and cannot put out. They can limit you to what you can talk about and not talk about. All the jewelry that they might front you or give you the money that you fronted is all part of that $5 million. The studio
but that's what I'm
time
saying. But it's not even like you signed for $5 million. Like it's like it's albums. So it's like, yo, 3 albums, 10 mil, right? And that's over the top. It'll be like 3 albums, 1 mil. It's a loan. Like people don't understand that when you're signing a record deal, it's a loan. So they're loaning you the money, and they're saying you need to be able to pay me all this back. That's how an album gets shelved. If the album gets shelved, they have no faith that means, all right, I already loaned you $1 million. You maybe paid me back 500,000, but to put this album out, that's why a lot of times albums take a long time to come out. If I put this album out, it's going to cost us another 200,000. So now we're adding 200,000 to your debt. So even though you paid off 500,000 now, you're at 500,000, but another 200,000. Now you're at 700,000 with the debt. So you just added 200,000 to the debt. I gotta hope that this album is gonna be able to pay off at least another 300,000 of this. This album will probably flop. It'll maybe only pay off 100. We're gonna lose money on this. We're gonna shelf it. So I would prefer you to be in debt for me for a long-term situation, rather than to me to continue to lose money on you and build the debt. So that's how people aren't seeing it. Like all these things are loans. Majority of situations are loans when it comes to like the music business. That's why a lot of people, but now it's different, obviously, because you can do your own thing and then sign a distributing deal. But
yeah, I did see that. He had an interview with Blue Pill and somebody else. He was talking about that. I did see that. He would say that.
Why we bring that up?
What? Bring what up? Oh, I was just saying about like how we have this handout mentality, and I was saying how Kyrie was trying to give our people like an outlet where it's like, you know what I'm saying, like see what's going on, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, if anything, you could also just see like even from Ye, you know what I'm saying, and Kyrie, it's like, try to, it might be hard, but try to get your own, you know what I'm saying? Don't rely on these corporations that gonna hit you with these, you feel me, quid pro quos. And you feel me, as soon as you get out of line, they're gonna boot you to the curb, even if you could have built their business up the last 10 years. As soon as you say one.
But I'm like, why do we talk about this like this is something that's not known to business? Like that's a nigga working a regular 9 to 5. Go to your boss. Like you could be like, let's say you work in the kitchen, right? Because I say this because, you know what I'm saying, I used to work at a pizza place. So it's like, what if I found the best recipe together shit for the pizza, right? Everybody's saying they love this shit. Like, what do you call that? It's not even on the menu yet. I just made it for you. You feel me? It's fly, right? You fuck with it yet? Let the boss come in and be like, hey, nigga, this should be a pepperoni pizza. Fuck wrong with you? And I say, nah, everyone likes that. That's the best shit. How you think that's gonna go for me?
2 ways. He's gonna take it and be like, well, you got to give me the rights to this pizza, or you're gonna fire me.
So it didn't go right either way then. I lost both ways, nigga. It's either 1, keep your job, or 2, the reason why he fired me because I said I didn't want him to have the rights to the pizza, right? That's probably the reason why. I'm like, my boss was like, if you want to stay here, this is my shit. And the reason why I got fired because I said, no, this is mine. I'm gonna be great. So it's like we act like this shit is like kind of new to us because it's on a larger level scale, but in reality, it's like business is business. It all works the same. If you ain't start the whole shit, or if this ain't supposedly your idea, say something you don't agree with. Let's see how it goes. And that's the unfortunate situation, but it's like we don't really look at it that way because I'm like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of us, we idolize situations, we idolize people, but it's like, it's really all the same shit. It's just some people making more money than others. That's just what it is. Real quick, let's talk about it. According to KRS-One in 1979, Sugar Hill Gang had the only black record label with hip hop. They had everybody on there and then they gave it away. $10 billion business. Check it out. Some education right now. I'm going to check that out. Anything you want to say to anything I just said, though? Zen, I know I was going.
No, you speaking facts.
Let's talk about it. That's why when you sign, it's a recoup from the studio, video, and marketing. It's called an advancements. Yeah. But that's life, though. I'm like, a lot of times, I'm like, that's life. I'm like, if you don't think the job that hired you, this sounds crazy, but it is. If you don't think the job that hired you, whatever the case may be, isn't an advancement, isn't an investment, then you crazy. That's why you always see people getting fired. That's why you always see people in a situation where they lose their hours, they lose their job, whatever the case may be, is because you're putting, it's like you're basically putting this amount of trust into this person and saying this is what's going. And this is, I'm not backing up. I'm not a dude who's like for corporations, nothing like that. I'm not a dude who's like always 9 to 5, all that type of shit. I'm not for that. Get your shit, but it is necessary to make a living, to make shit right, and to make sure like you're moving and grooving the way you're supposed to do. All I'm saying is when you are able to understand both sides, it makes it easier to thrive. That's all I'm saying.
You know how to move. But I'm
That's
not
it.
gonna lie to you, Flu. I ain't got too much in me to talk no more. I'm burnt out now, man.
Nah, you good, bro. I'm not gonna be on much longer. Actually, what time is it? It is 11. I'm just going right now.
No, you good?
Yeah.
My whole face is just backed up now.
All right, you good. I'm probably gonna. I think I'm gonna go just a little bit longer. I think I'm going maybe like just 2 hours. Cause I'm like it's already 11:10. No. I gotta get up out of here, man. I gotta get some sleep. I'm like I'll be back tomorrow for real. You got any last words for the people, Young Zen?
Hey, man, you only got one life, but don't let the distractions of everything get you off of your own and your own beliefs. Just because you don't got the Rolls Royce truck, don't mean that your Honda truck ain't it. You know what I'm saying? God bless you with wheels to get to point A to point B. So let's just start being appreciative of what we got. And if God blesses you with more, take it. If that's not in your plans, at the end of the day, be who you are and stand on what you got.
Stay blessed, not stressed. Keep clean. Beware of the mess, and be weary to flex. You know what I'm saying? Just keep your head up. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep solid. You know what I'm saying? Happy Wednesday to the people, man. That means we almost at the weekend, which is always a good time. You know what I'm saying? Just keep moving forward, man. Try hard. Try hard. Life's short. You never know. But at the end of the day, you can always try. So keep that in mind. Much love to the people. Make sure if y'all come up in here, man, like the video. If you ain't like the video, man, subscribe to the channel. We had some deep talk tonight. It was a good time, man. You already know. Tomorrow, back with something. Not sure what. But notification game is going to help you, you know what I'm saying, understand and figure out what actually, you know what I'm saying, we go live. So much love to people. We out, man. For real, for real. It was a good time, though. I had a good time.